Hi guys, I have a bit of time today, so I thought I'd do a little video for you guys. It's only a short one. I just wanted to show you a little bit about the items that I keep in my pantry all the time and some of my staple items. So it gives you a bit of a look into what I use personally and what I support and the different products and benefits that it can have for you as well. I'll also be talking about what I use them for, and you might get some ideas for at home use as well. This will be posted to the page later, so if you missed it, that's fine. It will be available for you guys. None of the products I'm showing you are endorsed or sponsored. This is just my opinion on what I prefer to use at home for my family. I'm just going to talk a little bit about each product and just sort of give you an idea as what a nutritionist cupboard may look like. So we tend to stick away from too much processed foods. Most of the products we shop around the supermarket, so your fresh produce, your fresh fruits and vegetables, your meat items as well. The only sort of pantry items I get are like your nuts and seeds, and sometimes I'll buy different things that perhaps there might be a better option available, but I'm all about time and convenience as well because I am quite busy, so I always prefer fresh and organic where possible. And I also prefer raw where possible, but sometimes it's not. So that's okay. We just try and eat as healthy as we can and support our bodies the best way that we know possible. So I'm just going to introduce you to some of the items. I've got them all here ready to go. So I'm just going to turn you around to show you. We have poor connection here, guys. Okay. So we've just transferred to NBN, so the service isn't fantastic, so I do apologise, but that's okay, we will get through it. So I've done some of the items that I have in my pantry and the items that I use all the time and for a lot of my recipes. So I'm just going to introduce you to some of them and talk a little bit about them as well. So I'm just going to start from the front here. So I get a lot of these products are from Aldi as well because we buy cheap. So this is coconut milk, which I use for a lot of my curries and stews and soups, and I love to make curry pumpkin soup with this. It's fantastic. And I buy the full fat flavour because I don't believe in low fat. I believe in full fat. I find when you get low fat, they add sugar to the item, and you also lose a lot of those fat soluble vitamins as well. I'm all for fat, okay? So the next thing is the coconut oil. I love my coconut oil. I use it in a lot of my slices and a lot of my baking and also my granola as well. Coconut oil is great for cooking because it's stable at high temperatures, so it does not go rancid. I don't recommend coconut oil for everybody, especially if you've got cardiovascular or heart problems. It's probably not the best option because it is high in saturated fat, but it acts a little bit different to your animal-based saturated fats because it's a plant-based. So I'm a big supporter, but it's not for everybody. So I use it a lot, and it's hard at the moment. As you can see, it's solid at room temperature. When it gets hot, you can barely see the contents in the jar because it melts. If you keep it in the cupboard, on days it'll be just liquid, and on cooler days it'll be more solid. So that's another product that I use all the time. Now, I use some sweeteners in my baking. I love Pure Harvest. I use so much of their products, especially the almond milk. I think it's one of the better long life quality almond milks you can get, and I love their rice malt syrup as well. I generally prefer this one because it does not have any fructose in it and it is gluten free. Some of the other sugars can cause problems such as bloating and diarrhea in some people because of the fructose in it. Sometimes I might use maple syrup as well. It just depends what I have on hand. Generally I've always got this one on hand, so I use it more so. I also love tahini. I use it in my slices and also in my granola that I make. I get the unhulled. preferably because it's got more nutrients in it, and it's got about 200% more calcium than the whole tahini. So I prefer to get the organic unhulled for that one. And it's got a little bit of a texture, sort of like peanut butter, and it has the oils on the top. So when you buy it, you've got to give it a good mix together. And it does have quite a strong savoury taste. I really like the flavour, and I eat it just out the jar or just spread onto some slice. But it's not for everyone because it is quite strong. But it is nice when it's mixed with a sweetener in slices. It becomes quite a nutty flavour. Some of the package items here are generally with your seeds and your nuts. You're better to store them in an airtight container in the fridge. However, our fridge is tiny and I do not have the room. So unfortunately, I have to keep them in packs, or sometimes I might put them in containers in the cupboard. Just depends on what room I have at the time, because I've got quite a lot of this in the cupboard at the moment. It's chock full. But I do use a lot of these products in every day, and I use them very quickly, so they're not sitting on the shelf for too long, so I don't believe they go rancid very quickly for me. So just some products that I love. Most of them are from Aldi at the moment. So I've got the raw buckwheat, which I love. I make a buckwheat risotto, which is amazing, if I may say so myself. And you can also toast these as well and put them in a bit of like a nut and seed mix as a trail mix, which is really lovely. I've got quinoa. I love quinoa. It's one of the few plant-based proteins that is a complete source of protein in itself. And I get the tricolour. There's not a real big difference between the colour of quinoa and the nutritional value. I just like to get the different colours. So I use it quite often, but you do need to soak it before cooking, as with any grains. So your brown rice, your quinoa, sometimes even the buckwheat, you've got to soak it before you cook them. And the same with your legumes. So like your chickpeas and your lentils, they all need to be soaked before you cook them, okay? It cuts down cooking time, and it also removes some of the phytates, which is a protective barrier that they have to protect themselves from insects in nature, but it also interferes with breakdown and absorption in our body, so we're better to break that down, help in digestion. So I always keep some nuts. I've got some almonds. I usually have a mix, and pepitas. I usually go through a period where I'll be obsessed with some particular nuts for a little while, and then I'll change. I've been using pepitas quite a bit because they're high in protein and fibre, and also iodine, which I believe I don't have enough of iodine in my diet, so I've been including those a little bit more lately. And chia seeds, I've been a big fan of chia seeds for years and years and years. It's a good source of soluble fibre, omega-3 fatty acids, which is anti-inflammatory, and it's absolutely fantastic and so versatile. Sometimes I use it in my cooking as a substitute for eggs, and it helps to bind ingredients together, because when it sits in liquid, it starts to form like a gel around it, which helps it bind together. It's quite fascinating. So that's how you get your chia pudding. So they put a little bit of chia seeds into a liquid and let it sit, and it gets that sort of pudding texture. I also use almond meal. You can also just buy almonds and break it up into a meal if you prefer. So I use this in some of my loaves and my baking, which is just a nice substitute for your typical flours. You can also use, sometimes I use buckwheat flour, sometimes I use oat flour or coconut flour, just depends what I have on hand and how I'm feeling that day. And I like the almond meal because it gives a nice nutty texture, which I love, and it's gluten-free as well. So another one of my staples is cacao. I'm obsessed with cacao. So this is a natural chocolate powder before they add all the sugars and all the preservatives and the milk solids. This is real chocolate. So I put it in my baking, I put it in my smoothies, my chia puddings. Love, love, love it. It's got quite a strong bitter taste, but I've always been a big fan of dark chocolate. and more of like the 70 or 80% dark chocolate, so it's not an issue for me. It's high in magnesium, which is a very important mineral that so many people are deficient in, and it helps aid in muscle repair, and it also helps with cramping and headaches, so I love using that all the time. I've also recently got these from Aldi. They've just brought them out. They had them out last year and they sold out so quick, so I was so excited when they had them out again. I've got some maca powder. So maca powder comes from the maca root, and I use it to try and help balance my hormones because they're a little bit erratic at the moment. So there's several studies that show maca powder balancing hormones and regulating female estrogen. So that's why I've been using it so much. I put it in my smoothies, I can put it in tea, chia puddings, sweets that I make, and it gives a nice nutty flavour as well. I've got Super Greens mix, which I'm trying. It's got the spirina, the barley grass, you can probably read it there, wheatgrass chlorella. So it's a lovely smoothie booster. And I've also got beetroot powder, and they've got an acai one as well, but I didn't get that one. I've only got the beetroot this time around. And this is great to add to different baking as well. You can add it to icing to give it a nice pink flavour. So you can make some healthy cupcakes and make up a nice icing and add this and have pink icing on your cupcakes. And it's good for kids as well. And my daughter absolutely loves beetroot, so it works well. I've got this one that's pegged down a little bit. It's just a soup mix. Yeah, which I've got pegged. This probably really needs to go in a container, but anyway. So I add this to my soups and casseroles, so it's just got all your legumes in it. So it gives it a little bit of protein, a little bit of flavour, and it's really nice. I've also got coconut water. So I use this in my smoothies, preferably to almond milk or any other kind of milk. I just prefer my smoothies more water-based rather than milk-based. So I've been using this a little bit more, and it also helps to bring up the electrolytes in my body and rehydrate myself. So when I have my smoothie, I have it in the morning. So just to replace all those minerals that I've lost throughout the night. We all wake up dehydrated because we've been sleeping and fasting for, I don't know, 8 hours or so through the night. Now, these are some teas that my mum and dad brought home from New Zealand. I've absolutely been loving this one. It's so sweet and so delicious. I've been having it every night before bed, and it really helps me sleep. So it's caffeine-free honeybush. It's got, I think it's called the Fioja fruit. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It's that one there. With manuka leaf and elderflowers, and it's absolutely gorgeous. I've had this one too, which I really love, but I don't have it before bed because it does have some caffeine because it's white tea. So preferably I have this one, and sometimes if I'm feeling it, I might add a little bit of lemon and a little bit of organic honey to my tea as well. So I've been loving those. I use extra virgin olive oil. So I use this for cooking. It's another one that is stable at high temperatures. If you get olive oil, please get the extra virgin olive oil and cold pressed if possible. It's a better quality oil. So I use that for my cooking. There are some oils that I use but I don't have that are more for cold. So like your flaxseed oil and your avocado and your macadamia oil, they're all lovely for things like salads, salad dressings when added with different spices and lemon, but I don't have any at the moment. But you do not heat those ones. You can heat your olive oil and your coconut oil at high temperatures and they won't go rancid, but the other ones go rancid at quite low temperatures, so do not heat them at all and keep them in the fridge. I've also got apple cider vinegar, organic, with the mother. So it's very cloudy when it's got the mother in it. That's the one you want. That's got the bacteria strains in it. I use this in salad dressings. I also sometimes in the morning I might have hot water, lemon, and a little bit of this and honey just to help get my digestion going and my metabolism, because this does help with breaking down your foods because it's got enzymes in it, and also helps with your gut health as well. So that's a product I use all the time. Sometimes I might even add it to my slices if I'm feeling game. And I've got some spices along here. Now these are the most common ones. I have more here and up there. So there's more in the cupboard. So I've got spices everywhere. I love spices. I don't generally have fresh spices. I prefer fresh spices, but I've got so much of this dry herbs. I feel I really need to get these used before I start buying some fresh ones. So things that I use all the time, like your oregano, your paprika. Your paprika is capsicum, which I learnt this only a few months ago. I can't believe I didn't know that. So if you're someone who reacts to nightshade vegetables, do not have paprika. Your nightshades are like your potatoes, your eggplant, your capsicum, your tomato, and sometimes they can cause inflammation and digestive discomfort for some people. So that's another one you need to stay clear of. Sesame seeds for a bit of protein. Cinnamon, I absolutely love cinnamon. I use it all the time in all my cooking, in my smoothies and my teas. It helps to regulate your blood sugar levels, and it's fantastic for diabetics and those with insulin resistance, so it helps the insulin receptors to be more responsive. I use parsley. I prefer fresh parsley where possible. Turmeric is another one. So a lot of people I've noticed lately, that's really blurry, I'm sorry, there you go, I've been using the curcumin tablets. So curcumin is a component, the active component of turmeric. I would always recommend the food source, so the turmeric over the curcumin tablets anytime, because you get a lot of the essential oils and minerals from the turmeric that you're missing out with the curcumin. And turmeric is extremely anti-inflammatory, it's antibacterial, antimicrobial, and it's just a fantastic product for those who have trouble with muscle aches and pains and osteoporosis. Another one that I use all the time is ginger, so that's another one that's anti-inflammatory, antibacterial. It's fantastic if you're feeling sick, to put these in with, say, like a chicken soup, make it a little bit spiced, so these will help fight inflammation and keep your immune system strong as well. And I also use pink salt, Himalayan pink salt. You can also use just natural salt if you like. I never use the iodized salt or just the plain salt that you can buy at the supermarket, because it does not have the minerals in it that normal raw salt has, especially this one. So it has so many essential minerals available to you. So if you're someone who struggles with fluid balance within your body and with bloating and edema and puffiness, I recommend having probably about half a teaspoon of Himalayan pink salt in warm water. Mix it around and have that in the morning before you eat anything. And that will just help to regulate and rehydrate, and helps the cells to absorb the water that you drink throughout the day. Another thing that I've been using the past couple of weeks is diatomaceous earth. So this stuff is foul. It's like a, woohoo, there it is. It's a bit like clay. That's what it looks like. And it's got a very chalky flavour when you drink it. So what I've been doing is I've been using 1 teaspoon of this in water twice a day. It's horrendous, but I swallow it and get it done. So diatomaceous earth is a silica supplement, and I needed it because I was deficient, and our soils are deficient in so many minerals, so I'm just trying to get it in where I can. And also, it's the surface of it is quite rough when you look under a microscope. So when it goes through your digestive system, particularly in the small intestines, because of the rough surface, it tends to clean out the bowels and also remove any parasites or pathogens that you may have in your digestive system as well. So it gives you a little bit of a cleanse as well. So the one I've got is food grade. It's raw, vegan, organic, non-GMO, gluten-free, you know, all of that. And it does actually tell you a little bit here. So you can use it a little bit. As it says, it may cause constipation. So drink 8 glasses of water a day. I drink way more than that. I generally drink about 3 litres a day, so that's no problem. So it helps eliminate bad bacteria and toxins within the body. So I've been doing a little bit of a cleanse with that, and they recommend, I'd probably say a month for your first time and then stop. But you can go up to 90 days, but then you need to have 90 days break. And my hair and my nails have been so much better, and my skin, my digestion system has been so much more balanced as well since having this, so it has been worth it. So these are the products that I wanted to talk to you about today and just introduce you to some of the things that I use. There's a lot more stuff that I use in my everyday cooking. I do hope to do a little bit of a cooking demonstration on some of the things that I make at home in future. So you might get to see some of these products in use. So, hi again. So I hope you've enjoyed this little video. It was just a little bit of an introduction into my pantry. Have a little sneaky look. So these are the products that I use all the time, the products that I'm loving currently. I do have more products that I keep in the fridge, but it's too much of a hassle. I just thought I'd go through some of my pantry items that I use. And I'd really like to do some cooking demonstrations and just show you some of my favourite recipes that I have at home and put these into use for you guys as well. So I hope to do that in the future. I just didn't have a lot of time today, so it was just a quick one. If you have any questions, please leave them below. If you have any recommendations as well, if you have any more information that you need, please let me know and I will try to get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you have a great day. I just want to remind you that I'm still doing the 7-day nutritional health analysis. That's still available for $29. If you're interested in having your diet looked at by a professional, please let me know and I can send you some information. I just need your email address. So I'll talk to you a bit later and have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.